Hey Seth, I'm Kyle. I'd like to rebuttal your thoughts on interdependence not bringing world peace. You brought up World War II and Germany deciding to act against the League of Nations, but what you failed to mention was the fact that there was a unification of France, England, and the United States. Three powerful nations unified to stop Germany. While Germany had different social and political views and used violence to display them, the coalition forces, united, were able to defeat them and preserve freedoms for the people of the Jewish faith. Not necessarily a powerhouse of nation. The Jewish were a people who leaned on other nations interdependently, and the result was them obtaining freedoms and were free of persecution. Interdependence is a vital part of how we obtain world peace. Interdependence liberalism is defined as a way that thinking of that a high division of labor increases interdependence economics between states and discourages violence. In 2014, with the ever-growing anarchy caused by ISIL, Iraq was on the fringes of being conquered. Again, coalition forces from Qatar, UAE, and and the United States pushed them back, and by 2017, ISIL held no territory in Iraq. Since the end of World War II, the world has become increasingly independent in a number of ways. Economically, the world has grown closer as financial markets, corporations, and banks have all become multinational. The tremendous growth of industry around the world has created environmental problems, and the world must now work together to solve. And the interdependence and the dependence on Middle Eastern oil has focused world attention on the problems of supply and demand. Furthermore, the European Union, which you mentioned earlier, is an example of a group of nations working to unify economically. The EU has also, for years, worked to lower tariffs and institute free trade among its nations. Recently, many of its nations have switched to the single currency, the euro. Interdependence promotes competition among countries and allows corporations to benefit from lower costs in developing nations. This is made possible by an international division of labor and free trade agreements. According to the United Nations Office for Economic and Social Development, Support and Coordination, technological improvements and policies geared towards open national economies to competition have also contributed to the growth of global interdependence. It is important to promote a coherent approach to policy, making sure that globalization extends its benefits to all nations. The United States, which currently has the largest internal market and a relatively small external market, would struggle if we did not import many products from abroad, especially petroleum. And in turn, many U.S. producers would not be able to survive if they did not export a majority or a portion of their products. China's current economic boom would not be possible without markets in the U.S. and Europe. And in turn, U.S. economy would even be in bigger trouble if the Chinese had not reinvested some of their surplus in U.S. bonds. Simply put, without interdependency, even a powerhouse such as the United States would ultimately fail. Thank you for your time.